Good deal. And that Mr. Raddick, he looks a little relaxed there.
Oh, why wouldn't I be?
Wait a minute, though. That's not fair. It's not
You have
fair.
your camera, Scott? Mr. Waller?
Ed.
There we go.
We got to make sure our ad's visible too.
Oh, Ed's there.
WollerVille, how are you?
Yeah, Ed's right behind.
How we doing today, guys?
Amazing. Thank you so much for having us. We're beaming in all the way from Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Wow, that's good. And hey, first of all, we just got to tell you guys, hey, welcome to WollerVille. This is my humble little city behind me right here. It's a mayor of 20, you know. But we can never have a formal meeting until they formally invite you. So, Ed, come on up here. And ladies and gentlemen, would you please give a warm WollerVille welcome to the team Prodigy. Give them a 3 clap, So that's one of our traditions here, that when we see people and they come to chat with us, you walk in our room, and if you walked right in, we 3 clap whammy on the way in. So it's exciting. We've been rehearsing, which is kind of cool. This has been great for us. We've been rehearsing for about 2 weeks, prepping for you guys, and I would say they're excited, nervous.
Yeah.
A little bit nervous, even though we've been practicing, right? It's always nervous, especially when I tell them, well, we're about to meet the guys that you're wearing their shirts. You know.
Absolutely love it. Thank
Nothing
you
to
so
be
much,
nervous
Ed.
about.
Yeah.
Oh no, not at all. Very excited. So I don't know how we definitely have practiced going through the questions. If that's kind of how you'd like it to go, just kind of run down the questions, let you guys answer them as we go. That's kind of how we practiced. I told them I have no idea how this beginning will go because, well, you weren't here to practice with me on that. So if you want, I can just have them start asking the questions.
How about some introductions real quick? Is that
Sure,
okay?
that'd be great.
All right, I'm going to start things off with Mr. Alex. Alex, can you tell the class a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So my name's, I guess, Mr. Alex, which I love that name. One of the founders of Prodigy. So I've been working here for about 13 years. And this actually started as a school project while we were in university. We really wanted to build a math game at the time that kids really loved. And so we spent our 4th year, a couple of classes in 4th year, developing the very, very first version of Prodigy. We used a lot of Pokemon art in the original version because myself and my business partner were not good at drawing. And so we had to kind of, we'll call it creatively borrow for some of the early prototypes. I love working here. I love being able to try to build games that all of you enjoy. And so really excited that we have both math and English now. And I'm excited to answer your questions and get your feedback.
Awesome.
All right, Mr. Raddick, over to you.
I am also very highly amused by the fact that I am Mr. Raddick, but
Oh yes, heavy on the mister.
I joined Prodigy as a game designer pretty much exactly 3 years ago. I've worked in the video games industry at various companies around Toronto. I ran my own small games company for a while too, and I really liked when Prodigy reached out to me, what the game was like. I did work actually in a lot of other educational games in the past, and none of them seemed as big or as fun or as filled with potential as Prodigy. They were very, smaller scale, like little games you play and then you leave behind, whereas Prodigy was this awesome world you could explore. So that really appealed to me, and obviously also played a lot of Pokemon and Pokemon-like games, and the idea of like playing a wizard who collects Pokemon and kind of levels up and grows more powerful was very appealing. So I was very excited to join Prodigy and kind of help continue, creating its world. And I've been here since.
Neat.
Amazing, thank you, sir. And hi, everybody. I am Dr. Josh, and I have had the absolute pleasure of knowing Mr. Waller for a few years now. We've presented together at conferences, and he is the man. I'm so happy you got to spend your year in WollerVille. A little bit of background on me. So I started my career as a teacher. I taught high school English, and then after that, I became an assistant principal. You probably got one of those at your school.
My wife, actually.
That's right. And so I spent 10 years doing that. And 5 years ago, I decided to join Prodigy because I loved playing games in school. When I was your age, of course, the best games that we had back then were like Tetris. How many of you are familiar with Tetris? Show me a hand. A couple of you? It's okay. It's okay. It's a fun game. But I really loved playing Pokemon when I was a kid. I was on my Game Boy all the time, really enjoying that. And when I learned about this really cool program that blended like math that you need to know with a really, really fun game, it was like a no-brainer. I messaged Alex, and here I am 5 years later. So thrilled to be here and love just impacting education, and that's why I'm here. So
Oh, fantastic. Some of those questions are in our questions that we have, so maybe they'll answer a little bit more, maybe.
Like
Maybe they won't.
Pokemon.
Yeah. Well, you know these guys.
Yeah, it's us. And our advisor.
Oh, yes, but well, I'm going to get out of the picture because, well, the mayor must go over there. And I'm going to leave it to the real executives of the show over here. Okay, so I'm going to step out of the way and then you can chat with these guys. Sound like a deal?
Yeah.
All right, have a little fun now, okay? Have a little fun, have a little fun.
all right.
All right, guys, go to your spots. Start it up.
Questions for Mr. Alex? Is that where we're going to first?
Yep. Yes.
All right.
Hi, my name's Desiree, and I have a question for Mr. Alex. Were you a gamer growing up?
Hi, Desiree. Nice to meet you. Yes, I was. I played a lot of video games growing up, and so it kind of shows up as a later question. But I played games like Pokemon. I played Pokemon Blue rather than Red because Blue is better. And then I also
Blue is better.
Squirtle. Although there's a good argument for Charmander. These were the earlier starter pets and earlier versions of Pokemon. But really liked Pokemon and thought it would be a really good game for us to build an educational game on.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Hi, my name is Quentin. My question is for Mr. Alex. Who came up with the idea to create this game, and why did you choose the name Prodigy, and why?
Quentin, I like that your one question is lots of questions. That's a good use of time. That's great. Nice to meet you. In terms of who came up with the idea, it was me and my business partner, Rohan, while we were in university. In terms of why we chose the name Prodigy, that was actually a little bit later on. The original name was Smar Teacher, which is not a very good name, but it was while we were a university project. So we decided that was a bad name, and so then we updated it to Prodigy. And the reason we picked it was because we really liked, Prodigy means somebody who's very good at a particular thing. And so what we wanted to have our games do is it help students become math and English prodigies. And so it worked really well with kind of the idea behind the game.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Jules, and I have a question for Mr. Alex. Was Pokemon an inspiration of this creation of the game?
Hi, it was Joe's.
Jules.
Nice to meet you. Yes, Pokemon was absolutely an inspiration for the game. Basically, trying to collect 151 pets in Pokemon Blue was something I spent way too much time doing. I remember I first got Pokemon Blue while going to a hockey tournament. We play a lot of hockey in Canada. And I don't remember anything about that hockey tournament, but I remember everything about Pokemon Blue. So wanted to make sure that the next generation was able to experience the same love of great games that I was while also learning.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Bo, and my question is for Mr. Alex.
Nice to meet you. What's your question?
Can't remember it, huh?
Then he forgot.
What was your ultimate goal as you thought to create this game?
Oh.
That's a good question. I'm glad you remembered. The ultimate goal was essentially games are really fun. It's kind of the core of it. But what they do really, really well is they make it okay to fail. So it's okay to lose in Mario for a second because you just get to try again. And so what we really like about games is that they help students like yourself practice math in a safe environment where you can make a mistake and maybe your spell doesn't work this time, but next time you'll get another chance at it. You get another chance. And so like as long as you keep trying, your wizard's gonna get stronger, you'll capture more pets, they'll get stronger. And so we really liked how games reinforce this idea that as long as you keep putting in the effort, you'll keep getting better. And that's kind of just a fundamental life skill that we really want to build.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth, and I have a question for Mr. Alex. What is the idea behind Ed? He used to be green. What role does he play in your company?
That's a good question. So Ed, we really liked the idea of having a mascot so that he could show up in the game and be supportive and show up on the website. So it's kind of a bit of a marketing thing overall, which gets into, he used to be green, which I think there's a question there on why he's orange now. Part of that was because if you look at other education companies, almost every company is blue and green. And so we thought we were making something really special, something really cool. And so we wanted to make sure that that was reflected in a more unique Ed. And so we gave him a bit of an update, we changed his style, but the core idea of him being somebody who's supporting you in your learning journey was still there.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Juan. This question for Mr. Alex. How many employees are at Prodigy?
Nice to meet you. We have about 250 people working at Prodigy. So there's a mix of people that are working on the math game, the English game, our teacher experience. Your teacher would be using Mr. Waller, as well as some stuff around marketing, so that new schools find the product. Lots of great people working together, but all around the same idea of keep coming out with games that you love.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Easton, and I have a question for Mr. Alex. How hard do you have to work to keep Prodigy relevant or to continue to be a popular game?
It's a very good question. I mean, the easy answer is 250 people worth of work, but the overall answer is we work quite hard. I mean, so Radic will be able to speak to this a little bit more, but there are lots of very good games out there. And so we know that as students, there's lots of other things that you could do, especially with your time at home. And so we work really hard to try to make sure that our math and English games keep getting better, that there are things that you're excited about bringing home and continuing to play, because one of the things that we also believe is that learning doesn't stop as soon as you leave school at the end of the night. It might change a little bit in terms of how, but it's really important that you kind of just approach every new scenario as an opportunity to learn. And so the more that we can make Prodigy educational, but also engaging enough that you want to bring it home, the more that we're doing our job. And so we take that really seriously and we work really hard at it.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Avery, and my question is for Mr. Alex. What was the decision behind the battle sequence? We noticed we answer fewer questions now.
Great question. This actually kind of comes back to the earlier question, which is what we found with the old battle sequence is that it was wasting a lot of time on what we call screen transitions. So there was lots of time where you're like, we're waiting for things to happen. Your spells would maybe take a little bit too long. And what that ended up meaning is you actually ended up getting less questions in an overall session overall. So what we were able to do is try to speed up how quickly each spell would happen, but then also set the foundation and Radha can get into this, there we go, pick different words. We were also able to improve the core game to add in additional exciting pieces. So an example would be fire spells now work more effectively against plant-based enemies. And so we wanted to give you more decisions that you could make within a battle, and the old battle system wasn't really supporting that. And again, that was all to just kind of make the game more fun overall.
Thank you.
You bet.
Hi, my name is Vienna, and my question is for Mr. Alex. How did the idea of starting Prodigy English come around?
Great question. It was pretty simple. We said, well, learning math is great. Learning English is also really important. And we thought we could come up with a really fun game to do it. We also wanted to try a different type of game. So we obviously had a game that looks a little bit like Pokemon for our first version. And then we wanted to try a new type of game that allows you to build your own village and kind of take care of pets within it. And we really thought the students were, like yourselves, were going to enjoy that. So English is a really important subject to learn. We thought we could build a good game, so we went and built one.
Thank you.
All right, shifting over to Mr. Radek.
Hi, my name is TJ, and I got a question for Mr. Radek. How do you make the graphics, and why did you choose to use a lower resolution graphic?
Hi there, nice to meet you. The graphics in the game are made by our team of artists, and we have a variety of artists. We have artists that kind of sketch cool ideas for pets and areas. We have artists that animate, our assets, so pets move along and have cool and fun animations. We have artists that paint the battle backgrounds. So it's like a fairly large team, and a variety of kind of focuses in the team itself, where the different individuals kind of contribute a different part. As for the resolution question, I think that's mainly to make sure as many kids can play the game as possible. Prodigy's played in a variety of schools and homes on a variety of devices, and some of them just cannot support higher resolution, and that is something where we wanted to do the best we can to make sure that the game looks as good as possible, but that we're not preventing any kids from playing the game because it doesn't run well on their devices.
Because if the graphics go up, right, the game goes slower. Correct?
That is a part of it, or the game doesn't go at all anymore.
Right, because it can't load.
Too much.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Joe, and my question is for Mr. Radek. How do you think of the characters and all the stuff that goes into the game? Who's involved in these decisions?
That is something that primarily I think game designers like myself on the team kind of pitch around, as in we have an idea for this type of a character or this type of role, but from there really everyone contributes. The artists kind of do sketches for how characters can look. Other team members, mention like who their favorite characters in the game are, how we can contrast one character versus another. What is a character type that we don't have in the game that they really liked? Maybe they really like the character from Pokemon or Harry Potter or somewhere else, and they want to bring that up as an idea. So it's kind of a more collaborative effort, and it also has to be weighed against the characters we have in the game right now, because we don't want to just always introduce new characters and leave the old ones behind. Obviously, Newt always comes along with you, but when I was working on the Puppet Master battle, for example, I wanted to use Flora and Bach and all the Guardians, because once you kind of complete their zone, you leave them behind, and I wanted to make sure that they, make another appearance and help you as the player. So that is another consideration when coming up with new characters. Do we even need a new character, or can we use an existing character and kind of fill up, the backstory, or kind of let players find out more about them?
Okay, thank you.
I'll just interject for just a second on that. Right now, we are in the process of our epic Prodigy quests. And I was able to share with Josh when we were in Palm Springs. What we use is, we use your program, not just for math, not just for English, but you've created this great world for us. And so right now, all of these guys here, what we do is we take, you're the wizard, but we write all our stories based on the game. So we'll take Prodigy up, we'll get it up, and then we'll start screenshotting all little things that are going on in our battles, in our just general stuff. And then we write stories from that. And all I hear from these guys all the time is how terribly boring that is. Would you agree, guys, on Des, would you agree that writing this way more creative?
Yeah, it's a lot more fun, and it's not just like writing in paper. It's a whole different level of it. You get to make up your own story, and all stories are different.
It's because right there you have your map, you have your characters. So we start to write on Google Slides all of these things that are happening, and there's a problem. But you have, as Mr. Raddick was saying, we don't always need new characters. We just need how do we incorporate the characters into this new storyline. So as soon as we finish some of those, I will be sending those to Josh so he can just take a little look at those and and see what we've come up with. But I'll tell you, on my end of the deal, the creativity, the vocab, and the words that we try to come up with enhance, because why? They know your game inside and out. They know every inch of it, I think. And so they know these characters really well, which allows us to write pretty cool stories. And then they can then, because what was mine, I called it the blue, some crazy tree, and then Breckenridge Rose.
The blue bumble tree.
The blue bumble tree. So your blue trees that you have in the game, I just call them the blue bumble tree. So thanks for all that, because it's good for you guys to know on your end that there are millions of other uses to your game, and I've told Josh hundreds of times how there is so much of Prodigy that isn't just answering math problems. It's you have this palette of things on your plate that you've made for us that I use more than just the program as it is. So keep doing what you're doing, and it's great for us on this end. With that, I got to get out of the way. Back to you guys.
That's awesome to hear. I would love to see some of your stories.
Oh yes, we will send you some.
Hi, my name is Kaylani, and I have a question for Mr. Raddick. Who writes the stories that we follow on our quests?
A lot of those stories were actually written before I joined Prodigy. We've only done a few new ones, and typically I'm the one who writes those stories. And how I go about it is I take a look at all the previous quest lines and the characters that appeared in those quests and how they talk, like Broccolina arguing with her sister, from Skywatch. That's part of her personality. I want to make sure I retain that. And Slurpy's always thinking you're his sidekick, not the other way around.
Yeah, we love all that.
Happens. So those are like elements I try to, make sure that we carry through as we write new ones. And I then show it to various people at the company, because there's various considerations for us, such as, are we using words that kids would understand? Are we making this too complicated? Or should we, maybe introduce a new word here, because that can be fun too, to learn something new. And, in general, is this a story that's new to Prodigy? Do my coworkers' children who also play Prodigy, do they think this would be a cool idea for the game? We kind of try to get the opinions of various both players of Prodigy and various other people at Prodigy, working at Prodigy, to see is this a good direction? And then once they give me the thumbs up, we finish it off and we send it to our great voice actors to record the lines and help us deliver the story to all of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Raddick, are you working on anything right now?
I am indeed working on on a brand new, fairly large feature that's going to be ready for the next school year. So last year I was working on the Puppet Master battle and the battle with all the illusion bosses, and right now I am busy working on something similar that will hopefully give you lots of new things to do in the upcoming school year. New things, some old things. I hope you all like it. I'm pretty excited about it.
Oh, we are ready for that. We are ready for that. Oh, this one's a good question for you, Mr. Raddick.
Hi, my name is Raven, and my question is for Mr. Raddick. Are there any hidden secrets in the game?
Yes, thank you for your question. That is a fun question. That's something that I always try to add into the game. Sometimes we don't always have the most time to add like fun little asides, but there's definitely at least one prevalent secret that some of our players have discovered. Called him Billyfoot, a squirrel. He appears in various parts of the maps, various battle backgrounds. He's everywhere in the game, but he's very hard to spot. So that is something that we've kept implementing into the game as we introduce new areas or new battles. There's always a little hidden squirrel everywhere in the game, basically, everywhere you can look at.
Well, I'll be looking. We gotta look for a squirrel.
A squirrel. That's
Like a big beaverish tail.
I don't see it in the game that much.
Yeah, because he's well hidden. Our artists work well to make him hard to discover, but once you see him, you can start spotting him in different places in the game.
Okay.
Cool. We're going squirrel hunting.
I'm gonna take a picture of him. If we can find it, that's wrong.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth, and I have a question for Mr. Raddick. What happens if someone has an idea to create a new part of the game, like Harmony Island, Winterfest, etc.? How can it get in the game?
So we actually have a pretty defined process for ideas. We have a long list of ideas of everything anyone at Prodigy would potentially like to put in the game, and we call it the backlog. And it's literally a couple hundred entries long. everything for like how to play with your friends better, to what kind of cool spells would we like, and just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these items. So we have lots of work we'd still like to do, and how that happens is everyone is kind of welcome to add to this pool, but it's oftentimes the leaders on our map game team that kind of then discuss these ideas and vet them or prioritize them. Like, this might be a good idea, but it's better suited for later, whereas like this would really help us out now. So we have these conversations of like which ideas to do next, and once we agree that like this sounds like a good idea, this is something we want to do, then we define it in much more detail, like what new art will we need, what new dialogue will we need to record, how long will players play this, or can we make this something that they return to again and again? Will we require new pets or new gear for this idea? So a lot of that is kind of filled in once we decide that like, yes, this is our new idea, this is what we're doing from here on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Raddick, do you ever take ideas from people like students?
I know we've had ideas or suggestions submitted to us. I know Mr. Alex, for sometimes a question of whether we would even be allowed to do that directly, because there are issues of legality and attribution as to whose idea is whose. But we always listen to our players and try to integrate what they suggest. So we don't often take like, my idea is that in your next battle you fight and we have this exact spell. So that's typically not the kind of idea that we look for. We don't replicate it exactly. But if an idea is, oh, I really liked fighting occasionally with Pipit, can we do something more with Pipit? we'll consider that as a starting point and say like, hey, our players, our kids are very interested in encountering Pippet more often and seeing what him and the Puppet Master are up to. So we'll use that as a starting point to kind of create a backlog idea for like, hey, how can we get Pippet into the game more often?
Thank you. Hi, my name is Bo, and my question is for Mr. Reddick. Why have we been able to level up over level 100?
Well, I guess another question would be, why should you stop leveling at level 100?
Right.
But
Yes.
the main reason we did that is we wanted kids to have lots of different pets and to kind of level them up all the way and to be able to pick and choose between their pets. However, once you get to level 100, at least with your wizard, who's always in a battle, they don't really get those same rewards for fighting in battles and getting more experience. And some kids would even think that like, oh, I've gotten to level 100 and that's the maximum, so I finished the game, even if there's a lot more for them to do in the game still. So we wanted to make sure that players know that the game does not end at level 100 and that you can continue getting more powerful or getting new abilities or getting something out of your experience for your wizard as well. It's not just something where you get to 100 and then you stop getting rewarded for going into battles. That's something that should be always part of the game.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Kellen, and my question is for Mr. Raddick. What kind of schooling is needed to do this job?
For game designers specifically, there certainly are game design courses in schools, in colleges and universities being taught now. When I started, those didn't really exist, or it was just first becoming a thing. So my education was more almost like what Mr. Waller described all of you are doing. I would play games when I was young, and unlike Mr. Alex, I just waited for Pokemon Yellow so I could play as Pikachu. But I would always try to plan what kind of a game I'd like to do, and I would draw little maps, and I would write down little ideas, and I would try to make like little board games. And eventually I started learning how to program because I wanted to program my games and make them a reality. So I started as a programmer before moving on to game design. But there's certainly school courses and curriculums that help you become a game designer, that teach you lots. Because it's not just coming up with fun ideas. There's quite a bit to do. There is math for like, how do we make the combat feel doable and balanced? Instead of making one pet always win, another pet always lose. There's also various art and visual considerations. There's narrative considerations like writing new story elements. But for me personally, I think if you have a passion for it, just start trying to design your dream game and see what happens, see what you need to get there. That's certainly how I became a game designer. I just wanted to make video games, and I tried to do that as much as I could in my own free time. And when I went to school, I went, as I mentioned, for programming, but it was a school that had a video game creation specialization. So a lot of my projects were about creating little games, and that was also very, very helpful. So definitely do stuff on your own. Continue doing what you do with Mr. Waller if you would like to kind of follow this path, and eventually you'll get to the point where it's time for college and university, and you'll be able to pick and choose from various game design courses that will help you get prepared to do what I do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome, thanks, Mr. Raddick. All right, there are some questions for me.
Hi, my name is Keegan. What did you do before you joined Prodigy?
Hey guys, nice to meet you. I taught high school English at Boca Raton Community High School in Palm Beach County, Florida, which is pretty far away from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And it's sunny there all the time, so it was really, really neat. Teaching by the beach. And after that, I mentioned briefly, I became an administrator and I was an assistant principal, which I loved. I did my doctorate in educational leadership, and then I thought, okay, how can I impact the learning of millions of students every day? And that's what led me to look at joining Prodigy, and I'm so happy to be here. So that's what I did. I was a teacher and then an assistant principal.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Joe, and my question is for Dr. Josh. How long have you been working at Prodigy, and what made you choose Prodigy as your place to work?
Hey, super nice to meet you. Thanks for the question. So I've been here for 5 years now, which is absolutely amazing. It's been an incredible 5 years. And what made me choose Prodigy was thinking back to my own experiences as a kid, back when I was in your shoes. And everybody's got their own favorite subjects, and I always loved to write, and English was kind of my favorite thing to do. And I wondered, if I had had a math game as fun as Prodigy, would I have done more math? And I think the answer is probably yes. And that's what drew me in the first place. But all that time ago, when I was looking at joining, one of the first questions I asked was, can we do an English game? So I was really happy that that became a part of it too. And that's what made me want to join Prodigy as a place to work.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now she has one of the hardest ones.
Hi, my name is Emily, and I have a question for Dr. Josh. What is your job as a director of educator enablement, and what's the best part of doing your job?
First of all, let's give her a hand for saying that title, first of all.
My job is really to make sure that schools and teachers and administrators know about Prodigy, and that there's no real barrier preventing them from using it. I want to make sure every kid everywhere has the chance to play our game. And the best part of my job is, quite frankly, doing this. Meeting with schools and teachers and students just like you, hearing what you like, hearing what you might want to change. That's always good for us to know. And just seeing the passion that you have for Prodigy and for learning. So that's a bit of my job in a nutshell.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Zane, and I have a question for Dr. Josh. Was Prodigy always an education program?
Hey Zay, nice to meet you. Yes, as far as I know it was. How many of you are familiar with Shark Tank? Has anybody seen Shark Tank on TV?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. We have our own version of that in Canada, and it's called Dragon's Den. And I remember seeing a video where Mr. Alex and Mr. Rohan talked about Prodigy. Mr. Alex, do you want to talk just briefly about what that experience was like?
Sure. We were 23 years old, so I know that's very old, but it's younger than I am now. No beard, no gray hair, so picture like a younger version of me. And so we went on TV and asked the Dragons to invest in Prodigy. 4 to 5 were interested and were really excited about the idea, and there was one mean dragon who said that it would never work. And so over the last kind of 12 years, we've been working to prove him wrong. So it's been, it was a really good experience. It was really exciting to be on TV. My dad could actually join. He was an advisor, so he's in the episode. But it was very cool to be able to explain to potential investors why we were so excited about what Prodigy would do for students around the world.
Amazing. Thank you. Thanks for the question.
All
right, I know we've got just a couple of minutes left.
Yeah, we'll fire through some questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because some of the questions you kind of asked us already.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so this is the most important question. Like, what do you like most about Prodigy?
The best part about
I'll bring this out so you guys can be heard a little better.
yes. The best part about Prodigy for me is collecting the pets, and when they get to a certain level, you can evolve them. The best part of Prodigy is customizing avatars and getting to change your spells.
A fun way for me is a fun way to practice math. It's like I don't even know I'm practicing. A fun way for me is to battle classmates, form teams, and hunt for Mr. Waller.
My favorite part about Prodigy is working on the questions, right or wrong. I'm still learning.
My favorite part about Prodigy is unlocking new adventures, like the biggest adventure, getting all the gems to defeat the Puppet Master.
Amazing. Thank you. All right, I'll go next. If you could change one thing about Prodigy, what would it be?
The thing that I'd change is the 50 battle.
Yeah, I don't like how it just drops you down to 50. I worked so hard to get to that level I'm at.
I don't like the new battle sequence. It's
Uh-oh.
much less questions.
We come from no, we come from a different place. Because as you know, as we've told Josh, we're like Prodigy on like steroids. All right? You know, we see a lot of people, about 2,000 questions. That's 2 days for us.
3,000.
That's 2 days.
Maybe one.
We're
Yeah.
so proud of you. You guys do such amazing,
If we're really
amazing
playing.
work.
And so the 50 battle was just, there's your level 87, and I think we understand why it was done to even out players, especially if your buddy wasn't where you were. I would imagine that was it, really.
Yeah, sorry, you're talking about the end game leveling? Yes, that helped kind of make it a little bit more fair for students. It felt kind of slow at the end. I can say, I will be talking with another gentleman, another Mr. Who works on the game, about how we can make sure you're getting more questions while also kind of keeping the game fun. So I don't know that it's going to be a fundamental change to the battle that you've seen so far, but we are looking for other ways just to make sure that you're getting all those questions that you want, and Mr. Waller is able to use Prodigy as a really effective in-classroom tool.
Yeah, well, in fact, I was going to mention that one of our backlog ideas is to allow you to answer potentially many more questions in a row, kind of like the English game does it, where you can continue answering questions to kind of fill up, your ability energy bar. This is something we've also wanted to do in math games, so you can potentially, if you want to make sure that you're just going through all of the math that you can, you have that ability as well.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic.
Yes.
Amazing. All right, Mr. Radek, on to your next question here.
Sure thing. And well, since I've been involved in writing for the stories and the characters in Prodigy, I wanted to ask all of you, who is your favorite character and why?
My favorite characters are Eve and Maria Shea.
My favorite characters are Newt, Bach, and Puppet Master.
My favorite characters are Newt, Puppet Master, and Eve.
My favorite characters are Puppet Master and Newt.
So lots of love for Puppet Master and Eve. Now, why do you like those characters specifically?
Yeah, why do you guys like the Puppet Master?
We like the Puppet Master because
He's our ultimate goal.
There you go, there it is. He's
He's
the
our
ultimate goal.
to beat him.
he wants us to answer more questions so we can beat him.
It makes us feel confident once we beat him. And then because he's like one of the big The reason why we like Newt is because he encourages us to do a lot of things, and
We talk a lot, as Josh saw in the last video I sent him, we love to just break class down, and all of a sudden we'll just start talking about the game.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of random back and forth chatting, and really when it comes down to it, without Newt, what happens to the players of the game?
You don't know where to go, and you don't get your reward. Yeah. You won't even beat
Newt's your ultimate goal. And as you can see, as soon as I let him go, boom, it just starts going. Because that's one of the greatest things, as I've told Josh many, many times, and they were going to talk about it, but it was hard for them. But as the teacher, I think one of the greatest features of Prodigy as Josh has heard me say, is the language. I love the fact that, because we have Class Hero, we have Zern, we have all your competition.
But we don't like that as much as we like Prodigy.
Because why?
Because Prodigy is better and you can... It's
Better?
It's
But
not
better.
exciting.
The reason is
You
what?
don't know that you're part
It's
of
the
like
fact that in Zern,
You
you answer questions.
Answer questions and you try to get to the Zern Tower. And
Yeah.
the
you
Tower
have to
of Power.
listen to videos that are like 5 minutes long.
In
And
Prodigy, the coolest thing is, just for your knowledge, if it's this class, or if I bring the neighbor class over, and we've done this just for me to have the other teachers see what it's like, is we went out into our lunch area, and I brought 150, 170 kids out there, and said, boom, let's play Prodigy. Everybody start playing. And I tell the teachers to come over by me. I said, don't interact, just listen. And as they start listening, I said, what do you hear? And I said, that's the cantor of Prodigy. They're talking about the game. They're talking about where they got to go. And I love it. Instantaneously, one kid will get up. No, if you want to find this, you got to go here. Then once you get there, you have to do this, and boom, and boom, and boom. And they just rattle it off.
Because they know,
You know it so well.
Like,
We've
They
done
know
that.
it.
We've done that for us. Like whoever's gotten to one part of it, then the other person would tell us like. When we were thinking of favorite characters, we were just rattling stuff off. We were just
And
thinking
it is
of random
exciting
characters.
when one student goes, oh, I'm taking on Maria Shade.
Yeah.
The whole class will stop, and they will go over there, and they will stand behind him, and they'll watch it. So that's good.
Like Deanna beat the puppet master this morning.
Yeah, it's exciting. So
Yeah, she's
to
good.
keep you within 5 hours, because I hate to tell you, but talking to us about Prodigy can be like an all-day affair.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been amazing. So, Mr. Waller, in terms of the last question, would you be so kind as to put them together and send the ideas over to us so we can take a peek at them?
Yeah, I would think we can definitely do that. I think our biggest question would be, as we would love, and I don't know if it's possible, but to be able to battle other winners in the challenges.
Yeah.
And now that's a big logistic question that I don't know. But first of all, what do we have to say to them for meeting with us today?
Thank you.
Yeah, this is a true honor for us. I'm excited to chat with you guys on Friday, and I can't wait to see Josh and you guys in Denver in the summertime. I'm a true Prodigy believer and a total backer. The stats back me up and how it affects what I do, and I have a lot of great educational stories I can tell you about how that gets done. But ladies and gentlemen, how about one more giant 3-clap whammy for these guys?
Thank you so much for having us, WollerVille.
We'll see you later. Talk again soon.
Bye.